Okay, everybody, 10 Tampa Bay Chief Meteorologist Bobby Deskins here. Friday, quick tropical update. I got to say, look, there's not a lot right here. 10% chance that this yellow area here moves to the north and the east. It actually looks a little bit better today, and I'll show you that. But it's moving out to the north and the east anyways. So this thing is basically just going to follow up right behind Dexter. This one is struggling. Ton of dry. I mean, there's a ton of dust in there, and it's going to get pulled in here. This is going to try and develop when it gets out here, but it looks like it wants to recurve, which is good news. That is Bermuda right there. So they are loving it. Look at that. Bermuda's got this system going to their north, this one going to their east. Dexter went right by here to their north, so they got lucky on all of that. We'd like to see that. Okay, now what we want to do? Let's talk about where we're at with the systems themselves. Okay, so let's start off the Carolina coast. And you can see that we've got a little bit of rotation here. Not a lot, but we do have a little bit of rotation. We turn the radar off here, and you can see some pretty good convection out there. That's the best this thing's looked the whole time. Okay, and I'm not even, I think they're talking further up in here, right? So maybe this has to be watched, all right? But I just don't see a whole lot here that's, moving towards the coast. That bottom line, that's it. Okay, it's just going to stay off the coast and move to the north and the east. All right, now let's move up here. Look at Dexter. Non-tropical, cold chord. That thing is, that's a good North Atlantic storm right there. All right, let's go down to the south. This is 96L. All right, and I tell you what, let me back out. That is a really small area of convection right there around the center. You can see these dots here are the forecast models suggesting where they think it goes. So you do see a recurve. That's the good news. You see that? It's going to continue going out here to the north and the west. But do you see all of this? That is a ton of Saharan dust. And it's right on the north side. So it's going to pull some of this around and suck it in there. And this thing's going to struggle until it gets up into here before it can try to develop. Okay? So that, they had it at 60% yesterday. It's down to 50% chance today. I just don't think there's much to that. This, however, is looking a little bit more interesting. This wave here, it's kind of far to the south, but it's already holding together. It's already starting to rotate a little bit. This will likely be Invest 97L. So for today, I'm just going to call it 97, okay? So you just know what I'm talking about. But this one right here, I think we'll be tracking most of next week. Okay, that's the one that we really need to be concerned about. Well, we really need to pay attention to more than anything else. Be concerned about, I don't know. All right, so let's just talk to the models. This is 96. This is the one with all the dust wrapped around it. This is what the European ensembles think. There's Bermuda right there. Bermuda is right here. Okay, models take it up and they pass Bermuda. All right, good news there. This is the GFS ensembles. They do the same thing. This is really tough to see, but that's Bermuda right there. And they keep it to the east and take it out as well. So good news. But here's, that's pretty interesting. The models, they're not doing a whole lot for intensity, right? So we'll even see if it decides to do anything. All right, now let's talk ensemble models. All right, this is the European forecast model. And so I want to back up here, a couple different things. This is our one off the Carolinas. That's Dexter that's leaving. This is going this way. Dexter's going out. This is our 96 that doesn't look good, and this is what I'm calling 97. Okay, so this goes up here. All three of these we don't really need to worry about. This one down here in the lower right we do, so let's watch that. I'm going to go out through Sunday evening. So that's this weekend, right? If this were to happen, and this is just an ensemble run, this model basically run like 30 sometimes, right? If that were to happen and we get a closed low out there, we could be tracking this weekend. We may actually get this designated as 97L if it holds together the way it is right now. And just like we have 96 right here, we would get model runs on it. So we'll see. All right, now let's go out to the middle of next week. Well, middle of next week. That's Wednesday night. Okay, so this is the ensemble run, meaning you're not going to get just one here. You're going to get maybe one here, one here, one here, one here. That's each one of those is a different run of the European model, right? So this gives you a better idea of what the model's thinking versus just saying, hey, this is the one we're going to pick, right? You could say that, but you got to know that it's also thinking down in here too. Okay, so that's a week. That's about Wednesday night. All right, let's go out to a week from today. So what do we have here? There's something there. You see all of these, right? So the model is not exactly sure, but if you were to look at this, it basically says in this area right here is where it's going to be. Okay? So let's go out to next weekend and look at the spread now that we're seeing. All right, we've got some that are up here, down here, all the way down into here. So it's starting to spread out. Now let's go back out to Monday, a week. This is 10 days out now. Okay? Most of the European models think this thing recurves. All right? I think that's Bermuda right there. It's tough to see, but I think that's Bermuda right there. But notice how most of the European forecast models say, yes, this thing recurves. Yeah, we got something out here. We got something out here. Nothing major, right? But the overall thought is that it recurves or does it, right? What's this? We got anywhere from Maryland down into the Gulf. But by far, if you look at this, most of it is here, okay? So that's the European ensembles. You see all the recurves trying to go to the north, all right? Let's go look at the GFS. Now, this is one run of the GFS, and this is why you can't look at what people put on the internet when they put this big hurricane coming out 15 days, 10 days out, making landfall somewhere. Because this is an example of that. Here it is. Watch down here. Okay, this thing's coming all the way across. Watch that. Ready? Here it goes. This is a week from today, the 15th. See it there, north of Puerto Rico by the 17th. The Florida Straits just south of Miami by the 20th. And then all the way into Texas by the 23rd. Now, do not believe any forecast that tells you on the 8th what it's going to be on the 23rd. Okay? Just don't do it. And now let me show you this. This is the same model, the same run, initialized this morning. And let me show you what it thinks. Look at that spread. All right? So one of the runs potentially has something out here towards Texas. But most of them are out here recurving. Okay, that's why you can't look at just one model run, especially further out in time. This gives you a better idea of what the model's thinking, which way it's trending. And then what you do, because this is so far out in time, you just keep watching these model runs come in and see what they do, see how they're trending. Okay? Now, this is the European forecast model, what it says about development, okay? Probabilities of development. Now, let's just start at home. You see this right here? We have a tropical wave sitting here, and it's going to do just like this. That's why we have a weather impact alert, because we're expecting a lot of rainfall from that. Do we expect it to develop? Not really. Our model does. Our local model does try and develop a little low here and just kind of take it that way, nothing major. This is the European forecast model saying that blue color, and then it gets a little bit teal, that's about a 25 to 35% chance. Just according to this model, not the Hurricane Center, but just according to this model, that something develops out in here as it's moving to the northwest. Right? Very small chance. It's there, but it's not that big of a deal. So look elsewhere. So this is our Carolina one that's going up and out. That's Dexter going up and out. This purple you see here is 96. Part of this is 96, but this into here is 97. Okay? That's the wave that's coming off now. It just came off, and we're going to watch all next week. So that little nose of it is right in here. Okay? So that's where we're at, guys. I would not be too worried at this particular point. Definitely a lot to talk about at this time of the year, which we usually have anyways. But no direct threats at this particular time. So I will keep you updated over the weekend. Don't worry about it until we get into about the middle of next week. I would make sure you check back sometime over the weekend and then on Monday. Okay, if you're not doing anything about it between now and then, just make sure you check back on Monday. All right, guys. See you.